I'm headed straight for the castle. They wanna make me their queen.
Hi beautiful people, and welcome to another video. I thought to do a sit down video this time around, so please, I hope you subscribe, of course, give the video, shout out, a like and all of that. And I just thought to come and talk and rumble a little bit. Maybe it will be like no, it won't be a venting session, I promise it won't be a venting session. But anyway, yes, welcome to another video, and I thought we should talk about uni things, about the university that I attend here in Norway, in Kristiansand. And I hope I can touch on a few things that I've been getting questions about from people that watch my other videos when I make like vlogs about the uni itself. Somebody did ask if I can make a few sit-down videos explaining a few of the processes and all of that. So I will try to do this will be like a highlight video of some of these topics concerning university here in Norway. So yeah, let's get into that. So firstly, somebody asked me why don't I make content about application process, that I should share the application process of how to apply for universities in Norway and all of that. The reason for this is, guys, when you actually, I get it, maybe you've only come across studying in Norway on my channel, but the thing about the internet these days, guys, it's grown and it's big and it's got everything. It's got everything, especially on YouTube. So just type in applying for universities in Norway and a bunch of videos are going to come, and people have done videos on how to do the process, literally step by step. And of course, I understand people want updated versions of the thing every year, or for people who are going to uni then. But I will say everybody's experiences are different. For example, when I applied to come and study in Norway, I was already living in Denmark. So if you have been here on my channel following my journey for the longest time, or you've been here since the beginning, you know that I moved to Norway sometime in 2019 to do an internship program. And from there I went to live in Denmark for a bit, I worked there for a bit, and then I worked there for almost 2 years, and then I came back to Norway to study, and because this is where I felt much more comfortable and I had built my network here. So my application process is different because I applied as a person already in Europe. So even though I am a non-international student, yes, I don't get any of the European benefits because all my documentation and paperwork is non-EU. But then if you are living in Norway at the time, if you are living in Europe at the time you apply under the rules of somebody who's living in Europe. So that's how I applied. So I didn't have to submit the same documentation as somebody would submit if they were applying directly from Zambia, for example. So I can't make a video to saying, oh, this is what you need based on my experience, because my experience was different. Yes, and also, as I said, so many other people have made videos about this. So please look on the internet, guys. I could even link some videos in my description for you to check out. So please look through the description and just because yeah, I won't even justify why. It's not laziness and I don't want to make it, but then it's just I'll be putting out the same information that is already there when you can actually go and look, guys. It's practically almost the same. Point number 2 is the thing that has changed about coming to study in Norway for non-EU international students is that now they've introduced you have to pay tuition fees, and this happened the beginning of this year, in autumn. So everybody that is coming from outside the EU has to pay tuition fees, and it's become a complicated process for a lot of students because the tuition fees are really high. They're so high, and on top of that you have to handle visa application process, and in the visa application process you need to have a certain amount of money to prove that you can live here in Norway, and that's a lot of money. And the tuition fees is kind of 2 times that money that you need to have. And for the tuition fees, from what I've heard, I have not experienced this because I started studying the year before introduction of tuition fees, so the tuition fee quota does not affect my year of study or like my group of students, thank Jehovah, because then that would be bad. Because it is actually very, very expensive, and tuition fee is like double your visa proving money. So that is at least one notable change I can say to students that are coming from outside the EU, that be aware that in Norway you now have to pay tuition fees, and I won't lie, the tuition fees are pretty high. Yes. The thing is scholarships. I have not heard anything about scholarships for people from outside of the EU coming to Norway, but I do know universities do have partnerships, like universities in the different countries outside of Norway with universities here in Norway, and through these partnerships students do come. Mostly it's like on exchange. I'm not sure about full degree programs like what I'm doing, but I know mostly exchange students can come through these partnership programs. I know there is something called the STAR program, which is students at risk, and also there's scholars at risk. So this is for people who are in tricky situations that they cannot continue studying in their countries, and I will not give a detailed description of how to apply for this school. It's not, I'm not even sure if it's a scholarship or if it's a program. Yeah, so I have no idea. From how I have heard it from the people that have been through this program is you need to be nominated or something. I would not even yeah, but these are, I mention it because these are the things that I am aware of that can get you kind of like exemptions to apply to study in Norway. I'm not sure how it's affected with the tuition fee situation, but maybe they are exempt from the tuition fee as well, to the best of my knowledge. Yeah. Okay, another thing about coming to study in Norway is people are always asking me what are the living conditions like in terms of housing. So with every university they have like an affiliated organization that handles like the housing, the student housing. For us here at Uya is SIA, and usually when you get your acceptance with like your acceptance letter, they do give you instructions of like the housing, and they will tell you like, oh no, you need to go to this website to apply for housing and things like that. And yeah, I think at least for me it came through the emails I was receiving from the university. I was like properly guided on how to apply for student housing and all of that. And student housing is the cheapest housing, I would say, in Norway. Yeah, most of it does not require, at least in the city that I live, through SIA, we don't require to pay a deposit, we just pay the monthly rent, which is really, really good because it's a lot to think about when you're moving here. You not only have to pay the rent, you have to pay the security deposit and all that. It can be a lot to think about. And yeah, so my advice is just to apply as soon as possible because it's housing, and I think everywhere there is a shortage of housing for every student community, especially that it's like public housing that is offered through universities or through like university associations. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you get like housing. Of course, sometimes it will take time, and they will give like priority to students that are coming from outside the EU. At least that's what happened in our case, like when in my intake when I applied. People coming from outside the EU were given like first priority to apply for housing and be allocated housing because they do understand you're coming from very far, and people from within Europe were like, you know, second place or second choice. And of course that's a different issue and a different debate on its own, but I do advise, even if you are from within Europe and you're going to move to Norway, please just apply as soon as you can, because the thing with the student housing is as soon as you apply you get on a list, and as soon as something is available they allocate it to you. And people are always moving in and moving out of these like housings because, you know, people don't like it, they want something else, something bigger, something smaller. So there's always like a swapping motion going on, I think. And yeah, so the sooner, my advice is the sooner you apply, the sooner you get allocated a place. Yeah. Another thing I was asked about was, and this was a question especially from exchange students that are hoping to come in January, is the expenditure, the living expenses. How much money should I have? How much money should I spend on food? Da, 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 da. To be honest, maybe I will try and convince some of the people in my class to do this like a video specifically on expenditure and how much they spend in like a week or a month and all of that, because my living situation is a little bit different from like the normal average student. Of course, I do stay in student housing, but I have a bigger apartment than a normal student room. Yeah, like the normal student room of where like you have like more of like just like a bedroom, and then you share your kitchen with like other people, like, you know, the communal living thing is I have like an actual apartment, so that's like different and it's more expensive. So yeah, I think, I'm not really sure, but I know the rent should be about 3,500 kronas for like a normal single room. Let me not lie to people here. So I will ask some of my friends to come and talk about this, the expenditure. And as I said, my living situation is a little bit different. I have like a whole big apartment, and also even how my eating habits, how what I spend on food is different from like what a normal average like student or an exchange student would like spend on food. So I'll try and organize like some people that can come and help me make this video, and you know, we can kind of like break it down. But relatively, I think I told this to the student that actually asked me this, that was persistent in asking me about expenditure. I did say maybe if you had like 10,000 a month, that would be 10,000 kronas. So that's what, $1,000. I'm not sure, please let me not let me not even try and convert it to like euros or dollars, because then I will just mess it up. But I believe if you had 10,000 kronas in a month living in Norway as a student, I think you would be able to survive. You would be able to survive, because then you'd be able to pay your like rent. Yeah, between 7,000 and 8,000, between 7,000 and 10,000 kronas should be enough. You'd be like okay, you'd be able to pay your rent for the month, be able to buy food, be able to go out and do activities. If you are you know, an outdoorsy person, you like to go drinking and eating at restaurants and all of that. Yeah, but if you're not the outgoing type who wants to go outside and do stuff, I would even bring it down to maybe 5,000 kronas, because the most important thing for you is to pay is rent. But then food is also expensive, so it depends on your eating habits. Do you eat a lot? Do you like expensive food? Do you like organic food? Do you like, or you can live on just the bare minimum? I think if you can live on the bare minimum, 5,000 kronas should be fine. If you get like the single student rooms where you share almost everything, maybe sometimes even the bathroom, I think you should be fine. Yeah, but I would say to be on the safe side, between 7,000 to 10,000 kronas per month should get you through being a student in Norway. At least living in Kristiansand. I'm sure in Oslo it's a whole different situation, or every other town, but at least in Kristiansand you'd be able to survive on that. Yeah, because there are few expenses. Yeah, it would be rent, food, maybe you'd need a bus card, because you need to take the bus to go to places. Maybe you're a gym person, you need a gym membership, like just a few expenses that, you know, they seem as if, you know, they are not much, but when you add it all up, it gets to something. Yes, so yeah, those are the things that I wanted to address when it comes to being like a student, an international student, and not EU student, or like student thing is studying here at OER, and as being a student in general, like the things that encompass it here in Norway, studying at OER specifically and best to my knowledge. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Please send me messages either on Instagram or like write in the comments what you feel would be you would want to know, and I can see if I can sit down and make a video like this, so I can ask like friends of mine or something to help make a video, and they can explain better probably than I am. So thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe, give the video a like or a share, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!